Hey, how's it going? So, what I wanted to talk about in this video is the high pass filter and using it effectively and just some advice for using it. Because that's really it's a key thing when you're EQing. So, first off, I'll just play a little of this song here so you can get an idea of what we're working with. This is a raw mix. I still have a lot of work to do on it, but I think it's a good thing to work on. I think it'll be a good example for you. So I'll just play a little bit here.
Ending fights, now you're on your own. Every time you expect those eyes to complete the world for you, you'll find just what change can do.
All right, so that's the vocal and the chorus here. So now how would I use a high pass filter? So some key things here. First of all, I think that the high pass filter should be one of the first things you do after you get all of your tracks set up and your vocal comp done and everything like that, and you start doing your initial EQ moves, especially if you're following the mixing system that I've outlined before. The high pass filter should be one of the first things you do. And what the high pass filter can do is really help clear out a ton of mud. It can help your vocals, for instance, stand out and sit up better in the mix. And it's really just a fantastic tool that you can apply pretty liberally to your mix. Now, always do things with intention. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to apply the high pass filter because that is what needs to happen next. So think about context of the mix, but ask the question, okay, is it time to do some high pass filtering? So I'll show you an example of how this can work. So I've got my chorus here, and let's say I wanted to mix my chorus first because I'm focusing on that side of things. So when I pull up my vocal here, I'll go ahead and add an EQ. Turn on my high pass filter. And again, I like talking about defaults every now and again. You can actually, if you want, you can do, low cut at 60, 50, 30. They have these, so, you can just pop that in there. But I actually prefer to have a little more, so I might bring it up to 100. Another key thing here is you have the option when you do this of boosting, and some people will do that, so you can get like a bit of a boost there while also cutting. That is a little bit more for sound design, I feel like. You don't necessarily have to do that. I'm fine with just cutting things at about 100 here. So now I've added that. I'm going to turn it off, and we're just going to play through the chorus. We're going to see how it sounds. So
Every time,
I'm going to solo it so you can get a better idea. Here we go.
every time you expect those eyes to complete the world for you, you'll find just what.
So do you get an idea of kind of how that's sounding? And that's pretty good. That takes a lot of mud out, and it just helps the vocals sit just a little better. There's a lot of work that needs to go in, but that's just an idea. Now, you might have noticed, too, that I have some reverb on this. And I would recommend EQing your reverbs. And I'll talk more about this in other videos, especially on effects, but this is another place where your high pass filter can be helpful. And just throw it there, especially as you're reverbing things. So you can EQ both the actual vocal and the reverb, or you can just focus on the reverb. It's really up to you. It's up to your, what chain and what you think you might want to do. But, if I added a EQ there, that's another way.
Change can do.
And that's just another place to add a high pass filter. How about your percussion, or you're working on drums? Again, what's great is how it reduces mud. And if you've recorded anything on microphones, sometimes you're going to pick up low frequencies. You're going to pick up things that maybe you just really don't want in there. And when you're working on your low end, you want your bass to really be your bass and your kick to really be the ones that are occupying those frequencies. So your high pass filter can say, all right, I'm taking everything out from all the other guys just to support this one. So if I was working on this tambourine, which I recorded with my microphone here, and my wife actually played it, you know, I would listen to this. So I'm going to solo it. Okay, sounded pretty good. But you know what? Maybe I'm just really worried and I want to get rid of some more mud. So boom, channel EQ. I'm going to turn that on. Now, here's the thing too, is that tambourines, I can roll off a lot here. I just want this for a lot of the more upper frequencies here. So I'm rolling that off. You see, I could go crazy, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to roll this because I still want to keep a little bit of the low end. But again, that's just another way to use a high-pass filter. So my advice to you would be go through your tracks. You know, I could even do it with my piano track here if I wanted to, just to clean up that mud. Go through your tracks and make it one of the first things you do when you're EQing, and just ask yourself a question: could a high pass filter help me here? Because I've got my bass and I want this occupying all the low frequencies. This is what I really want. That's what I want. I want that to shine. And so rolling off all these other tracks so they're not doing that, that can help. That can help give some separation if that's what you're going for. So that's the high pass filter. Don't be afraid to use it liberally. Be smart. Listen to it solo and in the mix, and do your work there.